Well, greetings, my excellent friends. Welcome to a most triumphant episode of the Chuckload of Comics show. This week, we are finally returning to the movies, and we come bearing gifts. Gifts in the form of 2 movie reviews, as well as a review of some of the safety protocols currently in place at AMC. We'll kind of pepper that in a little bit. We're going to be reviewing Bill and Ted Face the Music and the long-awaited X-Men film, the final X-Men film of the Fox franchise, the New Mutants. We've got some varying opinions between Shauna and I about New Mutants, so we're just here to celebrate new content, new movies, going back to the theater, cool new stuff streaming at the house. We've watched them. We can't wait to dive into those in just a second. If this is your first time to the Chuckload of Comics show, welcome to the show. Every single Sunday, we break down the top nerd news, the top geeky headlines that happen every single week in the world of fandom. So take a second, click the subscribe button, join us here every Sunday for all the fun. Don't miss a thing. It's basically headline news for geeky people like us, and hopefully like you. So before we get into our movie reviews of the week, on a somber note, I mean, we got to take a moment, and we'd like to have a little bit of a chat about the tragic passing Friday night of Mr. Chadwick Boseman. Totally getting a lot more somber right now. We, like most of you guys, we got the news on Friday night. It came from frantic text messages from friends, kind of dropping the news on us. Needless to say, it hit us like a punch to the gut, pretty much across the world. Everybody just, you feel the air just get sucked out of the room.
Definitely.
As soon as those texts popped up. We talk a lot about on this show, Shauna, the fandom community, you know, and its unique diversity. You know, It's a very unique and diverse group, the fandom community. And we talk a lot about that on the show. And there's no other movie character, really, I mean, in the MCU or in any film franchise for that matter, that brought so many people of different ethnic backgrounds, different ages, races, sexes, as much together into one group as when Black Panther appeared in the MCU. And really, I mean, no other actor commanded the screen as much as, you know, T'Challa himself, Chadwick Boseman.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, the first time we saw him was in Civil War, right? I mean, as Black Panther.
Yep.
And just his presence in that movie alone was amazing. It was just like he stole the show almost, even though it was a Captain America movie. He definitely, I felt like he stole the show.
An amazing film, but when Black Panther showed up, and before you even saw him in his costume, I mean, when Prince T'Challa at that point showed up, you're like, oh my God, you could feel a shift in the MCU saying, okay, oh shit, this is about to get amazing. We're about to witness something absolutely incredible. This character no one had ever seen before on the screen. He pops up, completely owns the film from start to finish. Sean and I never got the opportunity, unfortunately, to meet Mr. Boseman, which is a real shame. But our good friend and colleague Annie Banks, Annie did. I saw this on Facebook this morning. She did have a chance to meet him. Once she was conducting interviews at the Chicago International Film Festival. This was before Black Panther.
Before Black Panther.
This was before everybody knew, before Chadwick Boseman really was a household name. And she said he was nothing but kind, nothing but thoughtful and eloquent during our conversation. I don't know if you have that picture of Annie, but it's just, you can just tell, because if you know Annie, I mean, she's this short little bubbly, adorable girl.
Right.
But then you see Chadwick right next to her, towering over her.
I know. I'll put the picture back up again.
But really, adorable. Like, almost like he's hanging on her every word.
Yeah, he's very focused, and it's just amazing. And like you said, she said he was just such a genuine person, and she was so lucky to have shared that moment with him. So I'm liking I'm not liking, but it's nice to see on Facebook people are starting to share their photo ops, their chances of meeting him places. People are sharing their favorite video moments. I saw this one of Chadwick was presenting Denzel Washington. I think it was like the AFI Awards or something like that. Nice. With like it was like a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it was just great. The speech he gave really put Denzel in tears, because he basically said, I mean, you know, there is no Black Panther without
Denzel Washington. And he's like, I'm not just talking about myself. I mean, that whole cast stands on your shoulders.
Wow.
For everything he did. And Denzel just starts bawling.
Aww.
It was really, really amazing. He's like, you've watered all of us, and now it's time to water you, or something along those lines.
So cool.
Oh, it was great.
You could just tell he was just such a nice, genuine person, and all the interviews that he did that you watched on whether it was late night talk shows or news venues or whatever, but he's just always very genuine.
Yeah, radio shows, very, very honest, very great guy. Funny moments too. I mean, when he was on Black Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live, that was, if you haven't, I'm sure you've all seen it, but
it was great. He played T'Challa on Black Jeopardy. It was so good.
He's like, I'll take white people for 400, and they talk all about potato salad and like when a white woman brings potato salad to the barbecue. That was fucking hilarious.
He says something like, I don't know. I've never had potato salad before, but I'm guessing it needs salt.
Yeah, it's like, I'm assuming Karen is Caucasian and probably didn't season the food enough, and she probably put something that doesn't belong in it, like raisins. It was great. It was great. So if you have a second to check that out. Sean, any final thoughts on Chadwick Boseman?
Like you said, it's nice to see all the social media posts going out there now of people sharing their moments, their pictures, their photo ops, and then even his co-stars like Robert Downey Jr. and even people like Taika Waititi and James Gunn. They're all posting their fond memories of him and saying something interesting. Robert Downey Jr. said, and I didn't realize this, is that I guess he's been battling with cancer this entire time.
Really?
And he just didn't share it with anybody. So Robert Downey Jr. was saying something to the effect of how it's amazing that he still had that presence and that ability to act as well as he did while being sick the whole time. So it's really sad, but
yeah. Well, let us know in the comments section, guys. Share your thoughts, share your pictures, share your memories. Anything that you want to just mention, just drop it in the comment section. We'd love to hear it. I'm sure we're going to be talking more about the plans in the MCU coming forward in the months and years to come here on Chuckload of Comics, but none of that right now. So real sad story, but go ahead and leave us your comments. Moving on. So let's kick it up just a little bit of a notch here and talk about some movies. This week we're celebrating the return of new content.
Woohoo! Finally!
At the movie theaters. Our first movie review of this week is a movie have been excited about for the past 10 years.
Yeah,
when they were talking about they were making. Of course, that's Bill and Ted Face the Music. It is now streaming online. People have already watched it. We've obviously already watched it. All of our friends are like, "Oh, we're watching it tonight. We're watching it tonight." Shauna, current Rotten Tomatoes score? I haven't checked.
It's actually pretty awesome. It's 78% from critics and 82% from audience members.
That is way more than I was expecting from Bill and Ted. I was worried about what this movie, the quality of the film. The plot synopsis really doesn't give you that much.
No.
I mean, if you go to IMDb, it says, once told they'd save the universe during a time-traveling adventure, two would-be rockers from San Dimas, California find themselves as middle-aged dads still trying to crank out a hit song and fulfill their destiny. And that's like all we knew going into this film.
I know.
And even from the trailer that dropped, we really only got like one or two big, long trailers for this movie, and they didn't show you that much. I thought, okay, if they're showing me the whole movie in this trailer, I think we're going to be slightly disappointed.
Right.
But I am proud and happy to announce there is so much that they held close to their vest.
I know. I, hands down, loved this movie, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. I absolutely loved it. It wasn't just because it was sentimental. It wasn't just because it was like, a rehash of the first movie. It was so good. I loved it.
It was. And if you watch the San Diego Comic-Con Stay at Home panel, great panel with Bill and Ted, but Kevin Smith kind of, because he saw the movie early, he was giving his opinion of it, and it didn't. It kind of scared me because he never once came out and said how great it was, how much he enjoyed it. He was just like, it's adorable, it tugs at your heartstrings, and I was like, okay, that's Kevin Smith saying he didn't really like it very much.
Right, which gave me very, very low expectations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all we had seen up to this point, in the trailers we saw. Obviously, Bill and Ted, they're grown up now. They're doing like wedding singing gigs.
Right.
Spoilers. We're going to get into some spoilers of the movie starting right now.
Yes.
I liked that wedding scene was Duncan Ted's little brother Duncan was marrying Missy. Everyone's like, who's going to marry Missy at this wedding? It's his little brother Deacon, not Duncan.
Yeah, that was great. It was like, oh my gosh. And so then they even talk about how we first met Missy when I asked her out to the dance or whatever.
Yeah, to the prom.
To the prom in high school.
Oh my God,
and then she married my dad. And then she married Ted's dad.
Yep.
And now she's marrying Ted's brother.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. We knew that they had two daughters.
Yep.
I didn't even realize that it didn't click into my head that their daughters were Billy and Theodore, so they were Bill and Ted.
Thea, I think is what they call her. Or
so
Teddy.
the daughters are Bill and Ted, which was hilarious.
I know.
I don't know why that didn't even click in my head until I saw the movie. And all we had seen from future Bill and Ted, we knew they would go into the future and try to steal the great song from themselves. We saw the prison scene in the trailers. That, of course, was the one that everybody saw. What they don't tell you is that there's 5 other incarnations of future Bill and Ted that they go through. They keep on going further and further and further into the future, and you just see how Bill and Ted's lives just got shittier and shittier, and they just became worse and worse and worse and worse people.
It's hysterical.
And it goes all the way to Bill and Ted's deathbed.
Yeah.
So they slowly follow themselves all the way to their own deathbed, where they finally get a song handed to them, which doesn't even wind up being the song, I don't think. I don't remember.
It does.
It does. Yeah. It was just a recording of it.
Yep.
So you get to see so many different iterations of Bill and Ted. There's so many cameos and new characters. Talk a little bit about some of the new characters. Well, some of the cameos.
Oh
Sean,
my gosh! Well, we got to see George Carlin, a hologram of George Carlin.
You got a picture of him, I'm sure. We got not of the hologram, but we did get to see a hologram of George Carlin in the future, which was absolutely awesome.
Sorry, I can't find the picture, but that's okay.
Was not expecting that one bit. That was absolutely awesome. We got, obviously, Death comes back.
Yes.
They eventually die in the film. They do go to hell. Death. They get this. They get this almost bringing the band back together moment with Death, because apparently there were legal issues between Death and the Wild Stallions. Death was trying to steal the name, and Death's like, I am Wild Stallions. Like, what are you talking about? You're not Wild Stallions. That was awesome.
That was great.
New characters like that robot was absolutely awesome. I forget his name. Dennis the robot.
Dennis. Yeah, he just comes out and is like, he finally has something. I can't find Dennis the robot either.
It's a shot with some directors on there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Got it. There's Dennis. He's great. It's like, it's just hysterical because they actually turn him into a nice guy. He realizes he's doing bad things, and so then he's like, wait, I have a name. My name is Dennis. I forgot his last name, but he says, my name is Dennis Johnson. My name is Dennis Kenneth Johnson.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Dennis is hysterical. And then also on the other side, they didn't show you this in the trailers at all, is that while Bill and Ted are off, trying to find themselves and find the song for themselves, their daughters are off in another time machine, and they start collecting and amassing a super group,
a super band group, because they want to help their dads write the song.
And they recruit Jimi Hendrix, who was awesome. They recruit who else was on there? Mozart was on there,
and then Louis Armstrong. We don't have a picture of Louis Armstrong,
phenomenally
but he was
played.
great.
One of my favorite characters of the whole movie was Louis Armstrong.
Absolutely, it's so funny.
It's great, guys. I give it 2 massive thumbs up. Shauna, if you could change one thing about the movie, what would it be? Because not every movie is 100% perfect.
Yeah, and again, I loved the movie, but I think you and I talked about this last night after watching it, is the drummer that they recruited for that the daughters went back and got. It was like this female cave woman drummer from 1100 BC, and they're going, this is the best drummer in the world in history, and you're thinking, how the heck do they even know about this person?
Yeah, that seemed really
a little weird,
odd, and tacked on. It's like, of all the drummers in all of history, they go all back to caveman
BC.
days, and they know about this drumming cave woman. Am I not privy to this information? Does everybody know about this cave woman drummer that I don't know about?
No idea. I don't think so.
And this cave woman built a drum set in her cave? Like, what the fuck is that? That seems a little odd.
That was odd. But again, it didn't ruin the movie or anything for me. It was still great. And then also the flautist that they brought in, I don't know who she is. I apologize. It was unnecessary. It's
maybe she's famous. I don't know, but she didn't offer anything really to the band.
Yeah, no.
So they could have maybe refined the supergroup just a little bit more. I mean, history of amazing
musicians.
musicians
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff.
So that would be one thing that I would
They
change.
could have gone back, because remember at the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they could have gone back and gotten some of the other period, history. Never mind.
It's fine. Like I said, it's totally fine. And there's just so many. I definitely want to rewatch it again really soon, because there's so many things I feel like we easily could have missed. Like one of my favorite lines in that was when they said, "Oh man, we can't quit. We can't break the band up. What about our fans?" And then Ted goes, "Oh, Bob and Wendy will be okay, but we gotta go."
That's a pretty funny little joke.
I know. It was just such a funny movie. I love it.
I could have tweaked the ending just a skosh.
Yeah.
Because the ending does feel kind of rushed when they're like, oh crap, we got 4 minutes and then they just amass this. They just start playing this rockin' song all together, and then they unite the entire galaxy to all kind of play music together. What I might have done differently is that would have been a really cool opportunity to also bring George Carlin back.
Yeah.
In a voice. Like, what if Ted turns to Bill?
I found that picture of George, by the way.
Yeah, what if Ted turns to Bill at the end and is like, they see planets appearing in the sky, which they actually do in the movie, and they're like, whoa, didn't Rufus say something about uniting the planets?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also remember where he talks about bringing the universe into universal harmony.
Yeah.
And then it finally clicks in their head that, what does that mean, universal harmony? Yeah. It means literally everybody through space and time is singing and playing together. That just would have been a nice way to kind of bring George Carlin back, make the whole thing full circle. Like, this is exactly what Rufus told you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Was uniting the planets, universal harmony. What does that mean? It literally means, like, make the entire universe sing at the exact same time.
So the whole thing was, it's not actually the song itself. It was just getting the world. It was
just getting everybody to play together at the same time, which is exactly what Rufus said. They just nobody thought about it. I don't know. I thought about that. I was like, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Way to tie it in. So, guys, we've talked enough about Bill and Ted Face the Music. What did you guys think? Did you watch it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let us know in the comment section. Not everybody can like it. We just really, really did. So I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. So next and final new movie review here on the Chuckload of Comics show, guys. New Mutants.
Yeah.
We finally went back to the Dolby, to the AMC theater, and checked out New Mutants in Dolby. Oh, God. Dolby rules.
I know.
And hats off, by the way, to AMC. Excellent job on your cleaning and keeping social distancing.
Absolutely.
Very, very happy with our experience back at the theater.
Everything was great. And then they even they have the hand wipes outside, the sanitizing wipes, so you can wipe, even though they say, they're disinfecting the theater constantly. They have signs even hanging up right when you walk into the theater that says, if at any time you feel uncomfortable, please let an employee know.
I like the hand sanitizing wipes that they just had. Like, so you could go and wipe down your own seat, your own armrest if you wanted to. There is a link to my non-spoiler review. It's up on the Chuckload of Comics channel. So if you want a completely non-spoiler opinion of New Mutants, my opinion, because me and Sean necessarily do not 100% agree, but you can check that out. It's a non-spoiler review up on Chuckload of Comics show. So plot synopsis of the film really quick, guys. 5 young mutants just discovering their abilities while held in a secret facility against their will fight to escape their past sins and save themselves. That's what it says on IMDb. Current Rotten Tomatoes score, Shauna, what are we looking at?
29 from critics and 52 from audiences.
Wow. I left it a good review on Rotten Tomatoes. I gave it a 5 stars just to kind of bump that up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Shauna, I love the movie. Your opinion of New Mutants as a whole?
It basically met my expectations, I think, but I wasn't expecting a lot. Mm-hmm. I feel like they had a good story. That the acting was great. The casting was great, I think, even. But I wanted more horror. I felt like that the trailer that we saw 3 years ago or whenever it first came out was very horror feeling, and I wanted that aspect. You could tell that a lot of that was cut out.
I disagree, only because I think they did do a good job of holding on to sort of the horror. Because the whole movie takes place in a hospital.
Yeah,
it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It is a one location movie. There's only 6 characters in the entire film for the most part, so it's really small. It's really compact. I got not necessarily a horror vibe, but I did get a kind of creepy vibe from being in the hospital. But yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying a little bit. It wasn't quite as much of the horror movie as they were touting it to be 4 years ago. So did it live up to your expectations? Even though they were really low?
It did. Like I said, I think it met my expectations, but my expectations weren't very high. I feel like something else in this, I usually hate when people say this when it's kind of like an origin story, but I wanted to see more of their powers. I feel like we didn't really see a lot.
Especially with Cannonball.
Yeah.
Like Cannonball was a killer character. They even called him, or they didn't call him, but they said he goes from 0 to 200 like a cannonball.
Yeah.
And you saw him when he was kind of practicing. He chained himself to a rock and was flying around the basketball court.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen more Cannonball. We got to see a lot of magic. We didn't get to see nearly enough of Wolfsbane wolfing out.
Right.
We got to see a little bit.
And Sunspot was just a throwaway character.
Sunspot was kind of pointless. Danielle was a Moonstar, I believe is her name. She was really the central character of the entire movie. Basically, it is the Danielle movie.
Yeah.
It's all about her trying to figure out what her powers are, what her role is within the group. Of course, it's also about the Essex Corporation, who is run by Mr. Sinister.
That was cool. That I will give you.
No references to Mr. Sinister besides the little emblem, the little symbol, little diamond symbol. You see that throughout the film.
I think it was actually on the hospital coat's buttons.
It was on the coat buttons. It was on all the desktop screensavers, had that logo on it.
Right,
it was freaking all over the place if you go back and look at it. But no mentions of Sinister, no actual appearances by Sinister. I was really hoping there'd be a post-credit sequence. No post-credit sequence.
No, yeah,
so
don't bother waiting after.
You can wait if you like, credits, but there's really nothing there.
There's nothing there.
I think that Anya Taylor-Joy and Maisie Williams completely crushed.
Oh, yeah,
Magic
absolutely.
and Wolfsbane steal the show. It's sad to think that we're not going to get any more of those characters in the MCU moving forward because they were great. Maisie Williams was awesome.
Absolutely.
Loved her Irish accent.
Yeah, she crushed it.
Really nailed that accent. So did Anya Taylor-Joy with the Russian accent.
I know.
They never made any references to Ileana being the sister of Colossus. But they did make a lot of X-Men references, which I liked a lot. They made references to Xavier. They actually literally talked about the X-Men and were like, they know who the X-Men are. They live in a world where everybody knows the X-Men.
Yeah, because they're in this hospital and they're constantly told that if they learn to control their powers, then they'll move to the next place, and they kind of think it might
which
be...
is a special school for gifted mutants, is what they say.
Right. So
it was cool to see they actually mentioned the X-Men. I don't like that Cecilia Reyes was a bad character.
Yeah.
She made her first appearance towards the end of the 90s run of the X-Men comics. She's a doctor she's a surgeon who has the ability to make these like force fields and stuff. So like a very defensive kind of a mutation weaponry that she has. She's obviously the bad guy. She's the bad doctor. But in the comics, at least in the comics that I've read, she was always a good character.
Interesting.
She was a lifesaver. She wasn't a horrible person. I'm sure there's been many, many different incarnations of Dr. Reyes, but I always knew her as a good character. So that kind of took me a little bit by surprise. I liked it. I could have used more. It was a real short movie. Well, it was 90 minutes. I could have gone for another 15. They could have maybe fleshed out the characters just a tad more.
Yeah, that's my thought.
It didn't bother me, but like I said, I could have used a lot more Cannonball. Could have used maybe a little bit more from Sunspot because he felt very just kind of a pointless kind of character.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry Zaga was awesome.
Yeah.
But the Sunspot character, even at the big fight at the end with Demon Bear,
didn't really do anything.
He doesn't really do shit. Like
he was hiding the whole time.
He hides the whole time, then he comes out and he like picks up like a church pew and starts swinging it. It's like, dude,
that's not your power.
You're Sunspot. You could burn his ass, but no, you're like swinging a log at him. It's like, what are you doing, dude? So that was kind of weird, but ultimately I liked it. My expectations, like yours, were kind of low, obviously because they kept getting put off. And there was all this talk of reshoots, which they never really did. Anyway, they just did re-edits. So my expectations were kind of low. It completely lived up to my expectations. It gave me exactly what I thought I was going to get, and a little bit more. I would give it 2 thumbs up. Shauna, you're probably a little bit more of a...
I give it 2 thumbs halfway up.
Do you think?
Not thumbs down, but...
Do you think the 29%'s low, high?
Oh, I think the 29%'s low. I'm more in the 50% range.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in line with the critics or the viewers.
I'm at about maybe
score.
A 72.
Yeah.
Don't expect the big blockbuster in-game film. It is it was made for less than $80 million. Production budget, and it's all one location. It's only 6 characters. Very minimalist movie.
Yeah.
So don't go if you're expecting in-game. you're going to be very, very disappointed.
Very disappointed.
If you're expecting any of the X-Men movies that you've seen up to this point, you're going to be very disappointed because it's just really small and compact. But really curious what you guys think, because all I'm seeing online is people shitting on it and hating it. Am I the only one who liked New Mutants? I can't be. I absolutely cannot be. I will watch it again. So let us know in the comment section, guys. Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you make it through this video? So that's our whole show for the week. That lasted a little bit longer than I thought it would have. Actually, we had a lot to talk about with Bill and Ted, of course, Chadwick Boseman, and the New Mutants review, guys. So thanks a lot for watching Chuckload of Comics. We are here every single Sunday breaking down the nerdy news of the week, the headline news for the geeks, for the nerds, for the people like you, people like Shauna, people like me. So join us here next week for more great nerd news here on Chuckload of Comics, and we will see you here next Sunday.
Bye-bye.